Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to English Week 6. For the past 2 weeks, we've been looking at explanation texts, and this week we're going to be looking at an explanation text called How to Create a 3D World. Now, remember, explanation texts are pieces of writing that help us to understand how things work or why things work the way they do. So let's have a look at how to create a 3D world. John Stewart lives and works in Brighton in England. And there's a picture there of a map of England and a picture of John. John creates amazing illustrations for the series Project X, but he doesn't use paints and paper. He uses the latest computer technology to create a virtual world that you feel you could almost walk into. And below there, we've got another picture that's labeled Members of Team X. So, just a quick recap. Explanation texts have several features. They have an introduction, which we just read. They've got pictures or illustrations or diagrams, which we have seen. And they have numbered steps, which we are now about to go through. And they're also written in the present tense. So let's have a look at these numbered steps. Step number 1. First, John uses the computer to create a skeleton for one of the characters. The skeleton is then covered in skin and clothes. When John moves the skeleton, the skin and clothes move with it. Because the character has a skeleton, it can move like a real person. John moves the skeleton into a pose to show the character sitting, pointing, looking startled, and so on. John moves the skeleton into a pose to show the character sitting, pointing, looking startled, and so on. He can spin the character around to look at it from every angle and then choose the angle that suits the story. And that diagram there is labeled, this character is called Max. Step 2. John zooms in on the face and creates Max's expression. He can move the jaw and eyebrows to create the look he wants. For example, cheeky, upset, happy, or confused. Step 3. It's time to put the character into a setting. John has created each of the settings in the book. Each scene has been created like a virtual film set on the computer. John can move around the set and choose which angle he would like to see it from. And there's another diagram that's labeled, this setting is the inside of Team X's spaceship. Like a movie set, each setting has different lights that can be turned up or down and angled. The lights can throw shadows and add atmosphere to the scene. Step number 4. John places the characters, gadgets, and robots in the setting and the scene is set. For a final touch, John moves the eyes of the characters to show where they are looking. Now, for today's worksheet, we must read and respond to how to create a 3D world. Part A of page 55 says, number these actions to show the order in which John does them. So you've got a list of actions there of how John creates the 3D world, and your task is to simply put the right number next to each one to show what number it is in the sequence. Part B says, find 2 phrases that make the explanation sound interesting for the reader. Again, looking back at the text How to Create a 3D World, find 2 phrases that make this explanation sound very interesting for us.